Okay, good. Teamhw SbonguJesu, the floor is yours.
Okay, I'll start from the top. Okay. Last view of my father. Your head is big, your body is small. You are lying in the hospital bed, turned on your side. The pain is unbearable. You keep shaking your head, making small sounds. I wonder when was the last time you had sleep. The urine tube is filled with thick urine, pus, and blood. Your skin is no longer a skin. Your bones are fighting their way into the open through your pelvis, your ribs, shoulders, elbows, knees, ankles, spine, cheekbones. Your lips are pink. Your eyes are still as I know them. They demand obedience. Tears come to my eyes because all I see lying there is myself. The pillow and sheets are wet from saliva and sweat. There's only a single sheet over you. The blankets are next to the bed. All the food, amahewu, and fruit juice brought by earlier visitors remain on your bedside next to a lot of medication. The nurses tell everyone to leave at 1:30, but not us. I hold your hand again and I get your reaction. You look at me. Your fingers are, as I know them, thin, flat by the nails and soft. Your head keeps shaking. You are making those small sounds. I hold your hand tight. You look at me again. I tell you that you will come back like you have always come back. And as I say this, and I say this with not a single doubt, I leave at about 4. At 8 minutes before midnight, the nurse is calling. Okay, move to the next one. The only the only photograph I take with me everywhere is of one of the greatest poets I've ever read. He could have lived longer, but he chose to die for his art. Critics couldn't crack Peter Marisbeck's underground poetry king, so they silenced him, told lies about him, twisted every word he ever wrote. The man never wrote a poem that did not have the word God in it, yet he thought of himself as an unbeliever. I didn't ask for his picture. Upon his unexpected death 3 years ago, his mother just gave it to me. In the photograph, he's standing next to a 1999 silver gray Toyota Corolla 1.6. He's wearing a navy chino pants, a creamy shirt, and a navy tie. The background is the Intanda Kosi mountain, Bagezbus. He's not smiling. He never did. Our generation. We were full of potential, full of life, but today we are the most feared and the most unwanted in our community. People spit when they see us. Miracles never happen for us. We are used to hearing no. The mountains in front of us are too steep to climb, and our eyes are always facing the sun. Soon we will be blind. All our dreams remain unrealized. Our expectations were fantasy. We are confused by everything, the past, the present, the future. We don't know how, with so many bright dreams, we grew up to be such nightmares. His nights, day and its light bid him goodbye. Night and its darkness welcome him with open arms. Your nightmares have been waiting for you. Lay your head on your pillow and we'll call them. At night when lovers intertwine, he crosses over to the dark world where he begs and screams. where it's hard to wake up. And when he wakes up, his t-shirt is always stuck to his body. These nightmares in the morning refuse to obey his alarm clock. And in the morning, he remembers none of them. His head is a lost bird with no nest, no branch, no cave. It roams the sky while other birds sleep. In the morning, it sings like nothing ever happened. The next, can we move to the next? A child dies. A child has died. She died on an empty stomach. Don't let the children near. Her eyelids have not yet been closed. All is well. No one is close to death anymore, and there is a bit more food for a while. Dry brown bread, milkless tea, made from used tea bags. But we are not often hungry. Stress eats our appetites away. Young girls play with boys' toys, young boys dressed in pink girls' clothes, because that's what's there. The rainy season has passed. The shark is intact. There's still a roof over our heads. Police statement. Independent criminals will not be tolerated, except for the big ones, the very big ones. Those ones will make sure carry out their crimes properly. Otherwise, they will pay. To us, of course. To all other questions, our answer is, we are doing the best we can. I move to the next point. The fight for land. The poor black man will fight for the land. The rich black man will own the land. The rich black man will use the land and the poor black man until he tires. Then he will sell them back to the white man. The white man will use the poor black man and the land until they both tire. Then, when the white man tires, he will sell the tired black man and the tired land to the Chinese. They will know what to do next. Wake my father up. Wake my father up. Tell him that from February to August, there hasn't been any rain. The crops are dead. Tell him the house is decaying. The furniture is rotting, the roof is leaking, and debts are piling up. Tell him I'm getting tired of just surviving, of making loose ends meet. And when you talk to him, please tell him I'm sorry. Sorry for everything, especially thinking he would be here forever. Wake him up. Tell him that everything has happened exactly like he said it would. Tell him all his worries and fears have unfortunately and quickly been fulfilled. Dog eats dog. I deal with my problems by ignoring them. I wait for the next stress to replace the current stress. I make diseases sick. Pills take themselves. I praise. Tears dry themselves. I make bread eat itself. Starvation starve itself. I also make old rags wear themselves out. Shoes walk barefoot. I make debts pay themselves. The interest is always interesting, no matter how much time has lapsed. I make silence scream, and often the scream retaliates. The result is always dead silence. For that, I make a sentence, write and serve itself, though I never judge. Waving my sanity goodbye. In my head, all triggers are pulled. Reality's boot is kicking the jaw of my dreams. My mind has a blue eye, my heart is swollen, my soul's fingers are broken. My shadow is refusing to give a hand. I am the biggest problem I have to solve. My head swims deep in contradictions and my passions outsmart me. My sanity is saying its final goodbyes. Soon I will hear a car door slamming and it will be gone. But like buttocks on a clinic benches, waiting for a needle, I wait with indifference for what's to come. Rubbing my brain gently. My brain is more sensitive than the tip of my penis. My imagination bigger than my balls. My doubts dress in bright red, my blues in black, my insanity in camouflage, my paranoia in strange stripes. My thoughts plug me, my soul stands naked, playing with its private parts, waiting its turn. Loss of control. The extrovert in me has married the introvert in me and has since settled down uncomfortably. My heart stores only regrets. My memory is only good at reminding me of sorrows. My head is a manufacture of anxieties. My body a waiting room for my approaching demise. My dreams are a carpet in which reality wipes its dirty feet. I sold my soul. I sold my soul the same day I was made an offer. I sold it for the same price I got it for, free. I don't have depression, only an interest depleting, hope losing disorder. Between depression and this, I don't know which one is more dangerous for my fragile mind. The buyer of my soul is known for buying souls in bulk. Selling your soul is not the end of the world. As you grow, some parts of it are returned to you. Selling your soul is being in possession of it more than ever. The mere fact of waking up is my trigger for my depression or my interest depleting, hope losing disorder. Oh, how I yearn to sleep forever. A cigarette burning by itself. A man is writing a poem about a girl he just met but will never see again. The more he tries to think of something else, the more the thought of her reappears. He scratches the back of his head and puts what is now reduced to a filter back into his mouth. Inhales, exhales, chokes. The girl is now deep in his head and there's nothing he can do to take her out. Sorry, can everyone hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, apologies for that. Okay.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, love. Mist, haze, drizzles, cold wind. The curtain has holes, like my heart, all because Nomfihlakalo has made it clear she will never come back. It's no longer my heart's doll on the floor, but my heart itself. The mountain, the trees, the grass sways beautifully back and forth like her legs, her waist. The sky is clear, like her skin, her eyes, clear like her decision never to see me again. I cry again and again. My eyes see only mist and haze and drizzle. Slave or master? Am I? Oh, I'd like to say something before reading this poem. It's about love. Okay. Slave or master? Am I a slave or a master? It doesn't matter because everyone's a slave. and there is no master. And whoever thinks him or herself a master is the biggest slave. Wishing it would never end. I have become your skin and you my bone. Human to human, lip to lip. We dissolve, disintegrate, pelvis on pelvis, hair on hair. My whisper, your ears, your ear, your nails, my skin. My heart beats in your chest, yours in mine. When we started, it was dirty thoughts and clean sheets. Now our thoughts are clean and clear, and it's the sheets that are now dirty. Underwears are finally found in places we would have never guessed. One button is missing on your shirt. A single braid thread is on the floor. The other is on the pillow. The freedoms you expressed enslaved me, yet now, more than ever, I feel safe and free. Your long legs are my chain, and between them I don't want to escape. On love, time lost. Love never rewarded my hard work, and whenever I lost, my mind got lost too. Love borrowed my months, but returned only a couple of days. It took my hours, gave back a few seconds. It wasted my time, and it took years for me to notice. The language of love. Love was never my mother tongue. My tongue got tied like shoelaces when I had to speak. I chewed my words and swallowed blood. Whoever taught my heart how to speak of love did a poor job. It must have been the bitter poet I couldn't stop reading when I was young. Send toys and crayons to my heart. There is a little child there. Down the sexual drain. My penis itches for thick thighs and a fat warm vagina, maybe shaped like Hitler's beard, like the old porn stars. I care not about sexually transmitted diseases. I have had them all. Swollen glands, worm after worm, pimples with dirty watery substance, blood, pus, warts. I let them all heal by themselves, like dogs' wounds. Too many lines. If your poem has too many lines, use your nose and remove one. If things still don't feel right, put your nose in again and remove another one and another one. If there are no lines left, but you still see the poem, wipe your nose and leave it. Don't read too much into it. The poetry I like. The poetry I like has no table manners. It doesn't wash its hands before it eats. It prays before it eats, but the prayer never gives thanks to the food. It laughs with its mouth full and doesn't cover it with a hand or an elbow when it coughs or has something to say. It wipes its mouth with a tie, though a napkin is in front of it. And when the meal is finished, it plays with the gun under the table. Hungry pages. I use my eating hand to feed these pages, starving and empty in front of me. They always eat and eat and eat, but they never get out of my face, heart, mind, and heart. I don't know if they will ever have their fill of me, if they will ever have enough, or if this one-way feeding has to go on forever. Epitaph. Every poem will be written with strong ink and strong paint and hung at cafes, pubs, hotels, offices, and in people's homes. They will be hung in big frames at airports, train stations, bus and taxi ranks, and inside planes, trains, buses and taxis, in schools, halls, and sport complexes, in hospitals, prisons, courts, and other government institutes, the president's office included. There will be poems on rocks, on mountains, and on benches, and some permanently stuck on trees. They will be written on every skyscraper wall using the wildest nozzle graffiti spray guns and the most durable enamel paints. And at the end, on every tombstone, dead men's favorite line shall be engraved, taken from their most beloved poem. Hope. Uh, I'm now getting to a section that uh, has something to do with the title, like why it was called Slave. The following poems will, I think, hint on why it was called that. Hope. Dirty mind, determined to stop, but can't. Too many years have passed and every attempt has failed. Bad habits have taken over, leaving darkness and confusion. No matter how much time has passed, he always gets back to his old tricks. Somewhere, somehow, there's hope, that much he can feel. Hope for the cleanliness and sanity which the addictions have taken away. The most private addiction. Clicking from scene to scene. You are doing it with one hand while scrolling through videos with the other, watching all kinds of categories. 2 or 3 different sites are opened and you are going through all of them at the same time for hours on end. It sometimes becomes a whole day's affair looking for the perfect one, but it too won't satisfy you for long. I want a new, the brain says. I want more. You delete them only to download them again. Your brain threatens, punishes, pleads, and rationalizes with you, whispering in your ear with the crappiest of voices. Unpleasantness can go away with just one fix. The intimacy of being with a real partner or the thought of it is awkward, wrong, embarrassing. And when attempting it, your desire fades. You are only in love with the marriage, not the actual thing. Your head is caught up in fantasies no sane person can confess to having. Ordinary sensuality is no longer for you. You are trapped in the most personal of addictions. Enslavement, the overwhelming need to fall back to your old habits after doing well at keeping away. The sudden force that tells you consequences don't matter, that there is no other answer. And against your better judgment, you always listen and obey. Craving, then preoccupation with obtaining, then engaging in, then recovering from use, then the determination to stop. Then it starts again. Medication that causes the disease it was meant to heal. Fiction that writes its own author. Then back to obtaining at increased risk. Then overconsumption. Then desensitization. Then taste becomes extreme and diving. Though you have every intention to stop, that day doesn't look like today. Yes, it's not so hard to quit, but it's always easier to start again. Yeah, I think that the part that talks about lives ends there. But the other ones are just poems on other subjects. Death and its eternity. I am drowning in the sea of my darkest thoughts. It would be good to die, to never see again what I keep seeing here on earth. I am not afraid of death and its million years of non-participation, bones buried, flesh long gone, gone to the untamable spirit. Death is a clock that never stops ticking. It is the future, and the future looks dark and silent. I'm not afraid of it, the darkest darkness, which is also, for me, the brightest of lights. Slave. I don't have a correct picture of who I am. The person I see in the mirror is someone else. I put him through all sorts of fires. Somehow he keeps coming out alive. The real me is somewhere inside of him. I don't know the real me. I've never seen my face, my weight, my height, my skin. Sometimes I forget and think people are looking at me when they're actually looking at him, or the other way around. And when things go wrong, I always blame him for my laziness, for not being where I desperately want to be, even though I'm the one who controls where he goes. I abuse him, feed him too much coffee late at night, and then blame him for my insomnia. Take drugs early in the morning and blame him for my fatigue during the day. I feed him all sorts of dangerous substances and a lot of sex. When not doing this, I sit him up in bed or a couch and feed him nothing but junk food. Then I become embarrassed when I compare his body to those of other men who take care of theirs. As a slave, he cannot be allowed to die. The master's survival depends on him. The master is always the cause, but it's the slave that takes responsibility. He gets whipped when other people don't like the master, and sometimes praised for things he knows nothing about. The slave is always open, always willing, always fit for the task, but never the master. He always asks permission, but never the master. The master just grabs him by his clothes and says nothing. The master and this slave are never in harmony. They are too conscious of their differences. The master is certain he will never be a slave, and the other way around. Poor slave, always silent and obedient, always taking lashes. You never know what your master really wants. He holds you down when you are trying to fly, and when on your knees, crawling as you think it will please him, he beats you up and asks you where are your wings, and why don't you fly? You keep surviving. You survive, and you keep surviving. The room, the dark room of my dark thoughts doesn't have corners, yet it's not round. It doesn't have light, but there's no darkness. It doesn't have a ceiling or a foundation. It doesn't have walls or a door or windows, yet it's a room. I can't remember the way in, but I know the way out. Fallen in the rain. Everything is still, except the rain that keeps pouring down. There is no roof to protect my bald head, no clothes or fire to warm myself with. I keep falling. My beard is full of mud. My clothes are torn at their most private parts. My ears stuck in everything that my ears suck in everything that comes within range. My heart is constipated. My eyes bite off more than my whole soul can chew. God knew I had no game against the devil when he dealt me these cards in my hand. I look up, it's dark clouds, no stars. I look down, see my grave opening. Yeah, I think these are the last ones. Okay. Black fire. The sun is out, yet God is still asleep. There's no more manna for God's good people. They are forced to eat the devil's leftovers and lick plates. In hell, there is standing room only, no seats for small-time sinners like myself. All I see is black fire, black coal, black smoke, black burning black skin. Okay. Prayer to God and death. Do not rush your prayers and worship. Though there is no time, there is time. O God, creator of us disappointments, we are full of sin, stupid and weak. Why did you create us? O death, I have looked at you closely. You are not as unattractive as they say, and your silence is not at all tedious for people like me who have had it all. The devil is angry at my audacity to keep living. I am tempted to make the man happy. When God spills tea on me, oh God, whom when circumstances allow, I worship passionately. Glory be to you. Your designs are impenetrable. Your miracles amaze me. When I wake from deep sleep and manna and salsa surround my bed, who do I thank? It's you. When my bucket of water falls, when the wood I have gathered refused to light, when the tea, ready for a sip, spills on my naked thighs, I feel obliged, Creator, to put these two on you. These are the last two ones. New Testament. God, eyeglasses. The devil, binoculars. God can shout, but the devil has a loud hailer. God, our thoughts. The devil, our habits. When all is said and done, the devil will apologize. Luke 15 will be read. There will be a celebration. A lot of water will be turned into wine. The old grudge will die. Bound to be resolved. It was never about God and us. It was about God and the devil, his most beloved angel. But for now, God, our minds, the devil, our hearts and souls. For now, heaven is an idea floating in the air, and hell is deep inside of us. Oh sin, though you are ugly, look at the beauty all around that you have created.
So, Tima, do you mind reading that one again? There was just a
Okay, no
minor
problem.
second of, yeah.
Okay. Next Testament. God, eyeglasses. The devil, binoculars. God can shout, but the devil has a loud hailer. God, our thoughts. The devil, our habits. When all is said and done, the devil will apologize. Luke 15 will be read. There will be a celebration. A lot of water will be turned into wine. The old grudge will die off instantly. Who said saints don't kill time? It was all a family quarrel, bound to be resolved. It was never about God and us. It was about God and the devil, his most beloved angel. but for now, God, our minds, the devil, our hearts and souls. For now, heaven is an idea floating in the air, and hell is deep inside of us. Oh, sin, though you are ugly, look at the beauty all around us that you have created. This is the last one. Silence. Every day I contemplate, oh silence, what is it you will do for me next? Every second I wait, and you have never let me down. When everyone is smiling, you wait patiently for celebrations to cease. Then you advise, victory is illusionary. Death and loss are the only reality. When people open their eyes in shock, you bring your head closer and whisper in my ear, as long as you love me, you won't love anyone else, and no one will love you. The more I think of you, silence, the more I want to speak. I think that is it. Thank you everyone for the patience during the disturbance.
Thank you, Teamhw. Wow. Could we maybe put our mics on and give Teamhw a round of applause? It was special. Thank you. Thank you for your time. For your poems and for your presence. Are you comfortable with us recording this segment of the evening?
No problem.
Okay. Everybody, this is our chance to ask Teamhw a question, to comment on his poems, that sort of thing. And if you are keen, you can just raise your hand in the reactions tab. Wonderful. Jacques.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Teamhw, that was a great reading, and
Next page button.
I think that everyone in this room will watch your future career with great interest, because these are great poems. I don't really know what to say. I'm interested by the image of poems that play with guns under the table. There's that sense of danger in the poems. I mean, these are poems that are there's great tenderness, and there's this sense that there's something dangerous going on in the writing as well. I wonder if you want to say something about that. And I'm also curious about this idea that the darkest place is also the place that is full of light. That's the closest I can come to asking a coherent question. If you want to say something about that.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jack, for the question. I always like your questions. I like this one too. With the poem I like, I wanted to create a sense of unpredictability in poetry, where you never know what the next poem will be about or what will happen next. I like that predictability, that unpredictability, that fear. when
Next
a
page
collection
5.
is written, when a collection is written well, and one poem makes you afraid, and the others make you afraid. I don't know how to explain that, but that kind of unpredictability. I think when one reads even my own work, you never know what the next poem will be about. So I just like that. I like poetry that is scary, confessional, real, that talks about things I wouldn't have imagined another person would be brave enough to write about. So I think that poems just tells people about the kind of poetry I like and now which I write.
Yes.
The other poem about darkness, I think there are a lot of other poems that say the same thing about the darkest darkness being the brightest of light, and not knowing the way in, but knowing the way out. Those ones are about suicide. Um, if, if you really you don't want to live, that might seem like light to you. And if you don't
Yes.
know the way into this trouble that we are in now, I think everyone knows the way out, but it's not advisable. But those poems are about suicide. Yeah.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I would love to. I would love to. Get a like a reading list from you of your favorite poets. You
I'll try and send it to you. Yeah.
okay. Yes. Thank you.
It's Lisa. I have to put my video off because I'm struggling with my connection. Thank you, Teamhw. Send crayons to my heart. There's still a child there. That was resounding. It's still I'm still hearing it in my head. Thank you. I agree. It's close to the bone. Yeah, it's kind of visceral writing. And there's all the evidence that this thing that we do, this writing thing, is a reckoning with the selfhood. Yeah. Would you describe yourself as a confessional poet? Is it just is it a style or mode that you're attracted to? Because we never know, what's going to come out on the page. That's not usually how it works. I mean, we write from our bodies, so the body decides. But are you kind of attracted to that? Let's call it genre, style.
I think every good writing usually stems from real experience. So that's why I don't, how can I put this? But confessionalism is made up of the creator's experiences. I think that is the easiest way to create, to write about your own life and all of that. It doesn't require research to write about oneself. So it's much easier. But it's not, it's probably something I'm running into because it's easier. I know myself for it. But I'm more interested into imagism, surrealism, poems like Dog Eats Dog. If things went according to me, I would write things like that. But uh, the confessional side, I find that when I put it on paper, it does make sense, and it keeps making sense. I think it's because I have experience in that. It's something that I know. I don't know if I explained it.
Thank you. Anybody else have a question or a comment? Go for it, Ed.
Elisa, thank you. Teamhw, thank you. As you wrote, you survive and you keep surviving, and the writing is alive and well. You're still writing up a storm. I'm not sure if I have a question, but I'm fascinated by the poems that, like Next Testament, the ideas. It's like a theology of its own, a mythology of its own. It's yeah, it's amazing stuff. And the poems which explore the master-slave sort of ideas, those are also very intriguing. I think the one was just called Slave or Master. I mean, that one is just incredibly incisive. Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if I have a question, but I'm very glad that you're writing, and yeah, it was a privilege to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Langa.
Hi, I'm Langa. Cool. So this was absolutely amazing. I've been a fan of your work for a while now, and I think what I enjoyed about today is also like how your poems hold so much like tension. And then there's the last poem that you did. There was so much tension between the mind and the body. And this image of like settling uncomfortably was like very real. I also really, really enjoy like your intuition, like in your writing. It's quite jarring in a way. It sort of like snaps you back into reality. And it's just so, so real. And I think what I wanted to know was, how do you not like censor yourself? I don't know if that like question makes sense, but like, how do you like run away from that self-censorship type thing?
I don't know. I actually feel like I'm actually over censoring myself. The writers I'm influenced by are way more conventional than me, and they come up with the topics you would never think about. So I read a lot, and every time I read a book, I become jealous. Like, this person didn't censor himself in this, I would have. I feel like I haven't even reached half of what I want. I don't know that where does that cowardice comes from in an artist, but I still have it myself, and can't wait to see what I will write once that is worked on and it's no longer a problem. But I still censor myself a lot, and I really wish I could be brave to really, really, really write what I see, what I live.
Teamhw, if you
Next
have
page
a
button.
problem with bravery, what's going to become of the rest of us?
Yeah, I think it's extremely courageous. Teamhw, what's next? What's next for you?
Thank you very much for that question. A short story collection is coming early next year. So I also still have a lot of poems, but I'm advised to chill. Okay, I will chill, but don't be surprised if you see the third and the final collection next year, and then probably never see me in poetry again. But short story is guaranteed. It has been finished. There are just a lot of poems, and I'm seeing a potential for a dead collection, but we will see. But I would really love to venture into prose for a few years, and I will come back to poetry.
Please do. Please do. If there aren't any more questions or comments, I think we can stop the video. I don't want it to be too long. Just for the YouTube component and all of that. Does anybody have any final words or any pressing questions for our poet this evening? Oh no. Okay, good. Thank you, Teamhw. Thank you for coming and for coming back. It was wonderful to hear your work again. It's going to sit with me for some time for sure, and I'll definitely be going back to listen to it again. I'm going to stop the recording for now. But
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
bye,
God bless you.